Welcome back to Factorio Space Age Megabase. My name is Nilaus and we are here with a 128, well, almost 128 rocket launchers. For some reason this one is not launching, so a few of them are not launching. Don't mind me, I think that's about receiving capacity. Doesn't matter, we are launching a lot of purple signs. And why did I choose purple signs? Because purple signs is really annoying. Like, it's the worst one among the normal sciences, so I wanted to get this one done first. So if we could make a cool modular design for this, then we're good. This is about 1,000, it's 960 purple signs per second, so that's a pretty good start for a Megabase. And if you want to follow the series, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, because the schedule here is a little bit erratic on when a new episode is ready. I'm going to be doing each of the signs in a different sort of way to sort of solve new problems. And one of the big problems for this one is stone. How do we get enough stone to feed all of this massive build here? And the answer to that is, surprisingly, nuclear power plants. So if you want to see how a nuclear power plants fit into a purple science design, well, this is the video for you. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. And of course, Patreon supporters, they also get access to these cool blueprints. But we're going to be designing the whole thing as we go along. So let's jump into the design process and figure out what to do. Let's start working on the design parts. So we're going to be starting with a design that is going to be like our baseline design, that one. And we're going to get some productivity modules in, and we're going to get 2 of these like this. This is going to be it. And get some power ports. We're going to be using the legendary power ports because everything is going to be awesome and legendary right now. There we go. And hold on, why are things not getting put in here when I'm building it? There. And you. Oh, because I was working on it from map view. All right, so let's see something like this where we just max out the amount inputs here. Funny how that again did not get it. There we go. That is 46. Okay, that's pretty good. We can also, what if we did like this part? Okay, so we can actually, this is 46. It's really interesting why that's not being placed from my own input here. Anyway, this is going to be a good line. We're going to be flipping it like so. There we go. And here, get that in. There we go. So that's 92, which is obviously, if we go here, that's going to be enough. So we can use this as a baseline and then say we need 3 of these modules. And then from there on, we can just scale things down. So let's start working on this. There's going to be outputs here. There we go. Actually, someone was saying that I'm running too fast, and I think that's actually correct when I'm just like building things here. So we'll do this one so it's a little bit less erratic to get in. We're gonna get something inbound here, and that will be each of these at this speed is going to consume only 2 of each of these ingredients. So that is not going to be a problem to actually get like these inbound like that from the middle tile. And then I'm going to be outputting, and that has to be output with a stacker on the output build. That's fine. And then over here, we'll get these 2 merged in together. There we go. There. So that should be fine. And I don't really need this one. So there. That's fine. I can take this out, but I need to be able to copy paste it and replicate it. Great. And now the next part is finding out how to do the inputs here. That one and that one will be real input, because that's kind of also always the nightmarish one. And they're going to be stack inserters here. So each of these require about 60. So how does this work? This works very well. There is a slight surplus of rails, which means fine, and each of those can easily carry 60 per second. So not a problem. So now I need to get things inbound here, which is also not really going to be a big deal. I'm going to do that one. This will be sticks. Now I am aware, obviously, that these sticks are going to be way overbuilt because they're hit by 1 beacon, but they're definitely overbuilt. I'm going to need between these 2, I'm going to need 120, and this is overbuilt. But I don't want to carry this on belt. It's much easier just to get it in on a pipe. So we're going to do this, and then it's a matter of figuring out how are we going to get the other things inbound. First of all, this part here is now replicated down like that. So now I need to get the 2 other things, the steel and the stone inbound. But let's look at the entirety of this part here. Now, we have to remember that we're overbuilding this. This should be considered as 20. And therefore, this number is also going to be 12. No, not 20, 80. And this one will be something more. 13.33 is actually the correct number. Yeah, because if I do like this, then it'll be 40. If this is 240, then this will be 40 of each. So we just need to keep in mind that we are actually overbuilding this significantly. This is also going to be 600 and 600. So those are the baseline, and this is going to be 750. So those are the baseline numbers that we actually need to aim for, and that's silly high. Oh, this is actually way less, like 150, I think. 1,500. Here, the only thing we need is figure out how much we need inbound. So this, for each of these modules, we're going to need less than a full belt of each of the stone and steel. Less than a full belt, it's about 200 I need here for each. So how would I do that? I could get it in and say, basically I could get it in here. It's a little bit weird way of doing it, but why not? Why not indeed? There. And let's get these sort of looking a little nicer. And we can get this one in here. So that goes in, and that could be the stone, for example. Stone goes in and stone goes in. Great. So the other thing is a little bit more complicated, and I'm going to get that here. And that will be like this. And that gets the other one. That's going to be steel inbound. And we get that here. And there we go. So now we have the module in place. And all we need to do now is just route it so we get 3 of these modules into one city block. So this is the first block. My intention, maybe I didn't illustrate this or sort of emphasize this previously, but what I want to do is I want to make a design that is fully contained within a column of city blocks here. So that means I need to, is that one turret ran out of ammo. I don't care about that. I need to make sure that whatever we need cannot be wider than a city block wide. This is going to be a fun and challenging design criteria, because what I want to do is I want to make sure that when I build this entirely only from the bottom, like only from the bottom, is where we can get resource in. And we want to make sure that we limit as little resource as possible. So I'm not going to get steel inbound. I'm not going to get these ones sort of come in by robots. We're not even going to get calcite coming in. Well, maybe a little bit of calcite. I don't think we're getting calcite in. No, calcite also comes in on belt. We only want things in on belt, and we want as little as possible. So there will be some base materials that we want to get inbound, and those will be like the stuff that we can get here: calcite, coal, sulfuric acid, and lava. Those are the only inputs we're allowed, because everything else must be contained here. Otherwise it's not really a module, is it? So this works. What we're doing is we're taking 3 steel belts in and 3 stone belts in. Then we're going to get a mixed belt in here. This is the input, and we're going to get some molten iron coming in, and that will loop around. What you can also see is that I have taken out the builds out here. And I do that because it's still over 250, and even within like this confined, it is actually still plenty of speed. So everything is still in balance, and the overall is now only 250. So it's a less surplus. All right, let's move down to the next one. So what we need to do is we need to be able to get the finished product of this outbound here. So let's get that. So what we want to do in this tile is we want to make steel in this block, and we want to make these 2 items. So let's figure out how to make the annoying parts over here, that one. And let's make as few as possible. So we're going to get these parts here, and we're also going to get a power like that. And you are going to go, yeah, let's go with a power pole as well. Here, and there we go. How's that? I need to get to 40, so let's get a little bit more. That's definitely fine. So this is what we need. Then what I want to see is, if we look at this, scale it down slightly, that means we actually need 200 advanced circuits, and we need 400 stone bricks, and we need 400 steel plates. That's a lot. That is a lot. So that's going to be the next headache. This part, that's fine. We'll get you over here. I can start using you, and then I can use this one, because that's actually slightly better. And that will be productivity modules. And I want to get that in here. So let's make a few of these. here. And also get some power lines. Let's get you. I actually want this to be placed so that it actually hits all 3 of them. And then the last one here can just hit the bottom 2. Like that. And I'm going to cut and I'm going to paste. Let's get a little bit further out like this. And that's fully enticed. And that's 45 again. So this is again enough. Right. So then we need to get outbounds. Here is the thing. The outbound for this is not very much. So let me just get this one a little bit down. I can use long-handed inserters for outputs like that, that. However, it has a little bit of a problem that I used long-handed inserters for this. I'm also going to get the inside input and input. And they're just going to get like, yeah, there. This is all good. And you're going to go out. So the problem with this is that it is not stacked. It doesn't need to be stacked. It needs to make 45. And if I don't stack it, then it's not going to be able to go in on half a single belt. So I do need to stack it. We can solve that easily by just basically doing this and then say you're going to be only getting, not that it really matters that it's this one, but it just gives it easier. And then it's stacked and it'll easily be able to keep up. So that's an option. This is a little bit more terrifying because we're going to get here. Yeah, we're still going to get the outbounds. So let's get the outbound, and these two are probably just going to be like this. So outbound here. Here, that's outbound. And in. And the thing is, if I look at this, it's consuming way too much. It's consuming 200 steel and 200 stone. So it actually needs to be dedicated belts for everything. So I basically need 3 dedicated belts inbound. That means we have to have a little bit of creativity, which is always nice. So what if I do this build here? Like that. That's one thing inbound, and the other thing inbound could be like this. And actually like that, and 1, 2, and 3. Sweet. And this one just goes 1 up. Yeah, so this is a great way. Well, it's a way at least for making it with more belts inbound. There we go. And that means we can get these two here are going to get our red circuits inbound on 1 belt because it's only a full belt of red, but it's 2 full belts of the other one. So that is something. Now we need to get these sort of hacked into something here. I'm gonna get you as well as outbound. That one. And this one will just be changed to here. And they need to merge. Now, steel though, we now know how much steel we need for this build. We know with this one needs 400. And this one up here needs 600. So I need 1000 steel grouped up in one design. Okay, let me just jam this up a little bit closer to the other one. So a little bit in the corner. So let's do some steel design that is capable of doing that. That's going to be a little bit intense. Good. So we're going to be making steel in these two here and like that. And we definitely need beacons. So let's grab some beacons as well. I kind of feel that I would like that to be the case, and that's the case. So these are connecting. This is hitting both, and this one's hitting both. That just feels right. Here, and then these two. Copy and flip that way. Okay, this is a good start. And what I need is just a power pole here. So let's see, how is that? Something indeed. And what if I do this? That's more than 500. That's fine. So let's look at this as more than 500 and say we need 2 of these builds. So we just need to figure out how much do we actually need to put in here to actually produce it. That is going to be that one and here. All right. So is this going to be fast enough? I don't know. We'll just check. And we need another power pole as well. So that could be, I don't know, we'll get that down here. There we go. So that's powerful. Is that fast enough? Yes, there's a surplus. So this is the build. It should be pretty simple actually. I can do you and go up, you and go up, and then I want to connect it, because here's the thing. This is, there's a slight surplus. That slight surplus plus the surplus of this should only be producing 500, but that we do need up here some molten iron to get in. So that's a pretty good option as well. Then we need to make sure that we get a massive amount of outbounds, which is going to be a little bit tricky. Okay, here's another big consideration. This is outputting a massive amount of stone bricks. The easiest thing in the world, you think, is that this stone is going to be fed into here. But I honestly don't like that. The reason why I don't like that is because I kind of feel it's, I don't know, like it feels unsafe to me to relying on this one to run at 100% speed and then merging it in. I'm not really sure that's working very well. So therefore, what I want to do is I want to make dedicated stone production, and then I just want to void this part. Like that, and like that. Which means we're going to be building the design that we've done so many times before. Each one of these is producing 92. So if I use a stack inserter between two boxes, that can handle 120. So this should be enough. And then we can get this one out into just a box of junk like that. Great. That should be fine. And I can then do something like this. There. And then I want to get out here. I want to see how much can I get out. That's one belt. That's another belt. And in here, there's a third belt. Right. So these are going to get only one outserter from each. But these ones are going to get two outserters from each. Outserters, inserters. Yeah. Yeah. So what this means is that generally more of the stuff, 2/3 of the output here will go into this belt and 1/3 into that belt. So what I need to do is take this belt and multiply it by 2. Okay, I'll cut it out. And let's just jam it as far down as possible. And just right in the corner. And I guess we also build it here, right? Okay, so that's, I don't know if this is the right way to build it. I can also just go like that if I want to. Yeah. And then take this out. That one goes in, and that one. I don't know, it's not nicer. But it gives us this one further up. So now I have 1,000 steel per second. And that needs to go out on 3 belts up. And the other 2 belts go in here. And then I need to get... This one just has to pass through. This is crazy that I have to pass through this in the entirety here. Until we get to the stone part. Which will probably be the next one then. So we also need to get in here. We need red and greens. Okay, so I'm going to do this part here. You're going to go up. You're going to go down. I love this design. This is by far my favorite kind of design. And that means this is red inbound and this is green inbound or something. And then how far can we get it over? I don't know. We can do something like this. Okay, maybe a little bit further out. Yeah, okay. So now what I need to do is just shuffle things around here so that there's room for it. I need to get that up here and yeah, okay. Shuffle things around and see if I can get it all into one block. So this is about the best thing I could do for this design. It looks pretty good, I think. We can see that the steel is coming in and it goes up here. I can see that these two are consolidating and going up. The stone is going through and then the stone bricks are coming next to it. Those are unfortunately not things I can deal with next block either, because I'm also getting greens and reds, and the greens and reds are the ones I want to deal with first. But the beautiful thing is that I'm now consuming 5 lanes of 5 lanes of steel, and I'm not really actually consuming it, or I'm not really the only thing that I need input to feed it is actually, let's see here, yeah. That one should also be here. That should be calcite, because we need a belt of calcite in as well. So we need a belt of calcite there, and we need some lava coming in, and we need some of this coming in. And flip like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by just saying, well, all of this is not relevant, because this will just be getting from... Oh, that's funny. I wonder why that's there. But now it's about the red circuits. Right, so how much red circuits do we need? This one is requiring 200 red circuits, and this one is requiring 133 circuits. So I need 333 red circuits per second. That's actually kind of a lot of red circuits. So this is going to be quite a intense build, I think. We're going to do it the way that we always do these, pretty much. And we're going to put some of these in between. And let's see, let's build that here. Okay, so the main point of this design is that it's actually going to be two designs like this, and then in here I'll have like that, and this one as well. So, and that goes in, out, and in. These are not going to be there. These are not going to be there, because now I can do something along the lines of, they also need to be somehow output, but that's kind of less important. But this part can then be replicated down here, and then we can put in some, I would imagine something, yeah, some inputs, outputs, belts out here. So let's get some power in here and just see where we at. Where are we at with this? This is 113, not quite there. What about you? Could you just get something? How much space do I need? I think I need this much space, and then I also probably need one down here. Okay, so where are we at now? Ooh, well, that's exactly right. Good. So this one we'll just need to get outbounds here. So I'm gonna get the first one. You're gonna get some outbound. They have to be stacked, of course, and that just goes up here. Let's get it all the way up. That one, and that goes into just into the next there, and that stacks there, and into the next one here, and technically only that one. Yes, that's fine, and you're gonna go out here. So now I need it outbound, and I can do this outbound like that because I need it on this belt. So this is really nice. I can take, well, one of these, and I can probably take another one next to it right there, but then I need to do something else about that. Yeah, okay, so somehow we need to get this outbound. I'll find a way to do that, but we need it outbound on this tile. What we do need, though, is more importantly, we need to figure out, and these numbers, this is 133, so it means it's actually 184. This means it's 2 full belts, and this one is a full belt and a full belt. So that's our baseline. First of all, we're just going to say plastic is something that comes in from down here. Happy plastic, and this will also be happy calcite. There we go. And then happy plastic coming in from that side. So let's see. We need to make some kind of design that is supporting a full line of green and a full line of, or 2 full lines of this. But I also need some green circuits up here. This one needs 133 green circuits as well. So we need to have some spillover from this. So let's do some design that is mirrorable, whatever. That's a great word. That one. Let's make it all sort of cluster around a single, and then see if that can be done. Here, that one, and then let's get some, this, you're going to be in here. That will be, and this one just needs to go fast. All right. And then you need input, and you need an input, and you need an input as well. There, that looks about right. This will be stone or iron bricks. This will be iron production. This will be copper production. And let's have a look at let's get a power pole in and see what the ratios for all of this is. Oh, okay, interesting. Interesting. So that's because of these annoying things that decided to get extra. So I think that if I redo this, there. Right. How fast is this? Kind of fast enough. I also want to do that one because why not? But I do need to make sure that there's a massive surplus here. So that needs to be turned up. I am also looking at something terrifying here. This is not fast enough. I could put another beacon in, but I could also try to see if this would make it faster. 200. I think this is fast enough. So this is 200 times 2. And then I need a full belt in here. And then I need 133 outbound. So it's 240 plus 133. That's less than what I have. So this is actually working. It just means that I need to crank up that one, the coils even further. So not a problem. We just throw in some happy like that. And the beautiful thing about this design, I think, is that here, flip it, build it, happy, and I just need that one here. Good. All right. So if we look at this, we have surplus of everything. We have a surplus of stone. That's fine. We'll just delete that. We need a lot of lava inbound. We need a lot of calcite inbound. Well, maybe not as much, but we have a surplus, and we have a massive surplus of coils. And those massive surplus of coils need to go into 2 full belts up to this build. And the this here needs to go out. I always do this one. There. That goes out. Then I want to get 1, 2, 3 outbound, 1, 2, 3 outbound. You're going to be up like that. Actually, I can do it this way. And then the other one can go also 3 outbounds from each of these. Great. So that's working. We just need like stackers in here. Stack, 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 stack. Then this could actually be moved 1 down, and if I move it 1 down, then I actually have an extra build here. So let's do that. Yeah. You are going to be up here, and then I'm going to take you out, and you're going to be going in here. Look how happy it is. And those are going in on separate sides, so that goes out, gets up here. Now I have 2 belts, 2 full belts of coils, 2 full belts of 2 kind of full-ish belts, definitely enough of that. And I get also the plastic coming in here. All right, so we have everything we want. We can also just say, yeah, what if we take that one? Okay, you can go down. That one. Yeah. Yeah. And that means we actually get also the calcite inbound. So we get calcite in automatically, and we can then also throw this away. This actually probably needs to be quite fast. And we definitely need some stackers. Do we need 1 or more stacker? Probably just a single stacker for this. And then it needs to go out here for a junk box. There. And flip it and go. All right, so we get rid of this. We get that one inbound, and we can get the plastic that we don't know yet, but we are going to put in here. There. Right, so let's route this in. All I need to do now is figure out a way to get all these things in here, in each of these locations. Should be simple enough. The builds keep evolving, and the question is then, does it get get better or worse? You can see that we go from like high-level items up here, high-level items like the productivity modules and furnaces, to go sort of intermediates to red and greens and stone bricks, into more basic materials. We're still getting stone bricks, and we now have plastic instead of red and greens. So definitely we're getting sort of more basic stuff. And the question will now be, how do we do the next one? Well, the next one will indeed be the stone bricks and the plastic. Those are the ones. Now, I have, some time ago, just for my own good graces here, made a design for a plastic build. And it's quite awesome, to be honest. And that's the one we're going to be using. So I'm going to be plopping this one down. I need to figure out where I want it. I want it out here on the side. No, I actually want an extra line out here. And then I want some space below here because I need to be able to get a line in here. That one. Because I need to get from below. And I'm explaining how this one works. There we go. That is here. That's the plastic. And this is inbound. And let's see. This is calcite. Then I'm going to get calcite in from here. Oops. There. And you're going to go in here. So you're going to be picking up calcite from that one. And then we'll figure out how the calcite comes in. Right? That's good. And we have... this is probably just going to sneak by, so no problem. Let's explore this. What I've done with this design is... it is a small plastic module that makes more than 2 fully compressed belt of plastic. Now, this is probably not actually outputting fast enough. However, this is not actually plastic constraint. This is capped at the limit, productivity limit. Maybe you don't have speed modules, maybe you need full productivity. Then it just produces slightly less, but it's still going to produce way more than you need. Look at that, 550 for one machine. Yummy. Anyway, the problem here is down with this one that I've explained in previous episodes, maybe in the Twitch streams. But each of these little blue arrows can only support 6,000 outbound per second. So 3 blue arrows, that means a maximum of 18,000 outbound. So no matter what we do, even though this one says that it's producing 98, it can never, under any circumstances whatsoever, anywhere ever, be more than 18,000, because that's the maximum you can get out of the blue little arrows here. So then that means you can get 18 out, and that means 18 into this one, which is also means, like, even though this one is nice and juicy and wants to consume 36, there is no way to get 36 inbound because there are 3 input boxes, input arrows, and each input arrow is capped at 6,000. So we're only going to be producing half the water here, and I didn't want to be making another one. So this is actually going to be water constrained, not coal or oil constrained. And this is just a really nice ratio that gets some stuff done. Some of these things are not really looking as hot as they should be, but they're working. They're great. I think I should actually also... This one is just a summary. It's just something convenient, so you can see each of the steps, what they do, and when you then hover over it, then you can see that it actually... This is the bulk numbers you get. So we need about 1.8 thousand sulfuric acid inbound, which is trivial in on Volcanus, so no problem there. This will be unloading that. And I don't even need an output because this is just a Kickstarter. This is just for kickstarting. So it just needs to kickstart it, and then it's going to get stuck. And you're going to be getting that one. So basically just kickstart it, get it in here, get it stuck with these out here, because yeah, it's just that. So that's working fine. Actually, now we're requesting stuff inbound, but that's fine. So this will be coal down here. And then we need the stone bricks. Stone bricks are really annoying because they have to be built in these, and they can't really be determined how fast they are. Well, but let's do some design work first, like this, and speed module, or speed beacon there. That's a pretty good baseline for what we want. That one. But I can't see it unless I do. It needs to have the recipe. So this one, how much do I need? Let's start with that. We need up here, it goes into this one. This is 400 that I need. So I need to produce 400 down here, and this one's producing 100 and a little bit more. So that's going to be 200, and then a little bit more, probably just like that. And then if I plop it down with these in here, there, times 2, perfect. And then I need to go, this is one inbound, and this is another inbound. Get some, let's get stack inserters, why not? They need to go pretty fast. and yeah, get that out, get that out. And the output will be something like here. You're gonna go here and into, oops, these two middle ones, and into these two middle ones, and up. Or is it gonna be like this? Actually, I think that's much nicer. Yes. And then I need to do this one to make sure that it doesn't collide, because I'm having issues here. This is stone that passes through, and then the next two will actually just be going in here. So I'm gonna take you and put you in, I don't know, maybe like this, and then another one like that, and that's probably just gonna be up here and up. Good. And now I have 7 inputs. There, 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 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. That means I want to build a 7-in balancer. I still have my Rehnquist balancer somewhere here. That one. It's just going to be a 6 to 7 balancer, because we're going to get 6 inputs inbound, and that's going to look juicy like this. Okay, things are looking pretty neat. Oh, we forgot the outputs. Not so neat. There. And the same on the other one. Probably also some lights. There. Actually, we also have plenty of space out here to just bring it out, because we're actually not in any kind of issue with spacing here. I thought we were, but we're not. So this is a little silly to do that. Let's clean that up and make it less silly. And this one could also go like that. Oops, like this. And there you go. That looks a lot less silly, and I like less silly. And we're gonna get you in here somewhere. I don't know where, but we're gonna get it inbound. So all this is good. And we need to get calcite somewhere from down here. So what do we need to do now? Or what is the only thing we have remaining now? Is, if we actually look at it, it is 6 lanes of stone. It is 1 lane of coal. 1 lane of sulfuric acid coming in here. Like that. 1 lane of sulfuric acid. This is really reducing it to the stuff that we have as raw materials. And some lava coming in here. So that's also very basic. Lava inbound. And then some calcite. So the only thing we don't have now, let's just put calcite somewhere here. We don't know where, but it'll be somewhere. So the only thing we don't have that's not a basic resource, all these are basic resources on Volcanus, but stone is not. So we need to figure out how to get the stone. And this is where, as I started in the beginning to say, this is where nuclear power plants come in. Let's start doing some designs for that. Whew. Let's talk about stone on Volcanus, because stone is not available on Volcanus, except that it actually is. And the way that it is available is by making here. Making copper, no, not by making copper plates, but by making copper here. You can also do it for steel, but for iron, but copper has a better ratio. You get 15 stone for each iteration of copper, so you really want to use the copper one here. So what does this mean? This means that if this is as productive as possible, let's also get some beacons in here, and get a, there we go. There, and okay, so how fast is this? This is producing 155, and I need, how much stone do I need? I need this part here. That needs something. Yes, perfect. It needs 400 stone bricks, and each of those require 2, but there's a productivity, so that's 533. And then I also need up here, which is another 533 plus 600 for this part, for the stone, for the rails. So I need 1100. Let's call that, well, not 12,000, but let's call it 1200. That's our baseline. So if I want to make 1200, well, what if we could just make, you know, like some beacons here, like that. How much are you producing? That's a decent number, right? And what about you? And get a little bit more of this out here. Look at that. Let's get a little bit more. Oh, this is actually incorrect. It should be placed like this, and this should be placed like this, because they need to be... Yeah, okay, so how much do we have? Already run 1,000. Let's just do one more. There we go. So if we have 4 of these, we got everything we want. Or I could just make it simple and say, I want 6 of these. Here. Because then it's easier to get outbound with what I want. There is a little caveat to this though. And that is, not only am I going to be consuming, producing what I need, that's fine, this is way overproducing. I need a lot of lava inbound, that's not so big of a deal. But I also need some molten copper to get rid of. How am I going to get rid of the molten copper? It's actually, if we have to do the calculations here, this should be 16,000 inbound and 20,000 outbound. So I need to get rid of 20,000 molten copper. There are 2 ways of doing this. There is the fast, easy, cheating way that I'm not going to do. And then there is the weird, I don't know, brute force and ignorance way, which is what we're going to do. So there are 2 ways. One is that you do a recipe flip. And what the recipe flip does is you basically have something that sets a recipe. I don't even want to build it because I hate doing it, but I'm going to do it because otherwise it feels a little bit incomplete. So I'm going to take basically 2 recipes here. One that has copper. That one. Nope. That one. That's one that has copper and one that does not have copper. There. And those are 2 now inputs. So I'm going to take this input into a random, and this is saying random input, and it intervals every 5 ticks, something like this. So you can see now this flips between the 2 recipes, and then I go in here, and then I just say you are going to set recipe. So this one just flips recipes. It's freaking annoying to look at, but what happens is that it will, as soon as it flips to copper, it'll fill it up with copper instantly, and then it flips over to steel, and then it'll delete the copper. So this is a way to delete fluids. I hate it, so we're not going to look at it. So that's not what we're going to do. But you can do it this way with random input and then set the recipes. We're just going to use this one, and we're going to be brute forcing it. So how are we going to brute force it? Well, I'm going to make it as fast as humanly possible. And then we're going to say, how many of these do we need? Well, I need to consume 20,000. So you just keep clicking. I need a little bit more. So 17, 16 is enough? No. It's going to go up to 18. There we go. 18. That's what I need. Can I fit 18 in? With modules and stuff. So that will be something like this. Like that. How fast are you? 10,200. So I need 2 rows of this. And flip. Like that. And they also need some power. Whew. All right. So, yeah, I don't have enough speed modules. But all of this will consume all of the copper and just throw it out. So I'm not going to use this copper for anything. I'm just going to throw it out into lava. That means the whole damn build here is now dependent on having lava input. I also need to make sure that if I rotate this a little bit, I need to get some inputs. So let me clean this up a little bit so that we now have the idea. This is going to be, these 6 are going to be each taking 1 line out on the belt. And then we're going to be finding a way to set the whole thing up. So here's the design. I've put it in here. I can now see that we have sulfuric acid passing through. This is also interesting about this is that if this is in lava, then it's going to need to do this. So here's the thing. Underground belts don't work in lava. So what I've actually done is, if you make this on top of some lava build, then you're going to need to fill these in. So I try to make as little dead space in here as possible, so that that means we have a little bit of redundancy here and there. But I'm trying to avoid, anything. Actually, I can get it a little bit better by doing this one here, and then you go up there. There you go. So it's a little bit better, but you're still going to need to fill in these tiles here, so that it reaches across. That's super important. Right, so this is going to be working. I have just done these ones here because obviously I'm not going to be able to do that. So now comes the question. Well, that means this whole build is relying on this space being lava and this space being lava. There is no way that you can guarantee that. Well, there is a way. There are actually two ways. I'm going to show you the two ways. It's a new feature that was added. Oh, that's fun. And I'm going to be shooting there. Let's throw a nuke. There we go. Well, okay. Well, that was bound to happen. So this is interesting, right? This patch here, if we built that on top, then suddenly it would actually be really neat. So we can just throw some more nukes there and there. The problem with nukes... Oh, ouch. The problem with nukes on... oh, that was a lot of legendary robots. The problem with nukes on Volcanus is that you can't make them on Volcanus. You have to make them on Volcanus, which means you need to transport uranium here. But there is another option. Because you can actually just make a nuclear power plant. And if you put 2 uranium fuels in and wait a little bit, it will also get all the way up to plus 900 degrees. And let's just wait and see what happens when we get to 900. Right, and I'm going to disable my roboport so I don't kill all my roboports. If you look at this one, it is now 1000 degrees. I also have another one over here where I only put a single pile in here, and that is 815. So if you start by shooting the one that's 815, it just explodes. But if you shoot the one that's 1000, then oh yes, it blows up, as you would expect. So that's nice, now we know. So what I want to do is I want to make a design. I'm just going to start by doing this part. Oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to enable my robots, and then I'm going to take all this glorious stuff out. Like that. Why? Well, because I have prepared a little blueprint as part of my Megabase thing. I am actually putting a blueprint like this. And this blueprint is so nice that it actually has pre-filled 2 of these uranium. And then we just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. Wait for this one to fill up. And then we'll tap it to get the... lava patches exactly where we want them. Alright, let's prepare our lava puddles here. They are chaining, good. And we are going to be building it here. So that means now I have my build, and I can just plop it down exactly like this. And unfortunately, these are actually a little bit different because they actually now need to be here. There. And that will be enough. So now all of this needs to be done, and I can also just get this one so because it looks nicer. And there, I don't know why the other one is there, but then what we need to make sure is that these tiles here, like these 2 tiles, are not lava. These 6 tiles are not lava, and these tiles here are not lava. And if you do the explosion thing, that's fine, but you might be building it on top of something that's already actually set up. So all we need to do now with all this stuff is simply hook it up and get in here. So this entire build is going to make, if it works, and of course it does, then that is going to make 240 purple science per second. We just need to get an input in here, which we have that already for pretty much our existing builds. Not these builds here. We can do that a little bit nicer, but we can also use the ones we have from our masterclass. So let's also build some rocket launchers here. Rocket launchers are being built, and that's going to be fine. I am building a small buffer in here in each of these, so that it goes into a small buffer and then goes out. And then we have to request stuff inbound here. So all we need to do now is running all the way down here. We get the most basic of basic materials, and that is calcite, coal, and sulfuric acid. And it's less than 1 belt, it's less than 1 belt, and it's pretty much nothing. So let's just hook that up and then see the whole thing jump into action. We are now ready to hook it up, and let's just see if I do this, then hopefully everything should jump on into action immediately. Okay, kind of not, but that's the part exactly what I was saying, that little tile is so important. So we start seeing They are producing. They're producing a lot. And it goes up here. And it goes up. So we now have 6 almost full belts. So for you guys, the calcite goes up. We also have the coal going up. Coal is going in here. And producing a lot of plastic. So plastic and calcite moving up. And here we have the stone bricks are also coming in. Very nice. So they got flow onwards. Here we have plastic coming in. The plastic will stack up soon enough. You can see it's already stacking up on over there. So it'll start stack up backwards towards the production, which is fine. And we get the green circuits and the red circuits flowing. So now we get basically the materials. We get steel in vast quantities. Steel's coming in, red circuits coming in, green circuits and stone bricks. And we now have the finished products. We also get all these outbound. Something is not working. Right, what's not working is because this is producing, but it will activate the first one first and then the second one, and then only after the first 2 have saturated we'll start the third one. And then we can start seeing this belt is looking very much very close to a full belt. Of course we need to get the last ones going before we'd really, now it looks like a full saturated belt. Minor clips here and there, but those will dissipate as time goes on. There we have it. That is a full belt. And the beautiful thing is about this belt, this thing here, because the whole thing is contained within 1 column of city blocks, I can just copy paste it. And so with a bit of beautiful copy paste, we now have 128 rocket launches simultaneously going to orbit to be brought back to Nilaus for the production of purple science. Absolutely gorgeous. This is and it is continues to work at 920. Oops, that's not what we wanted. 920 per second. Look at that. And here we go. This is producing. It's a beautiful build in my opinion. And especially this part is quite ingenious with how we're going to be making the stones in the quantities we needed here on Volcanus. So I hope you find this useful, find it interesting, find it inspiring in terms of what how we can get to our objective. We're going to continue with the other sciences. Some will be made with space casinos, some will be made legendary, some will be made in bulk, some will be very difficult, and some will be easy. That's going to be something we're going to explore in future episodes. So if you find it interesting, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment below on what you'd like to see more of. And of course, if you are a patron supporter, you get these glorious blueprints ready for you to stamp down on your own base if you want to never deal with purple science again, which is very nice to never deal with purple science again. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, take care and stay effective.